AKA Padders, welcome back to the channel. This is Wildstorm Wednesday, where I take you down a road to explore the 90s publishing powerhouse by Jim Lee, known as Wildstorm Productions. We have a big update. Yes, it is the end, but it's also the beginning. Let's go. So, welcome back to the channel, my sexy boys and girls. Peter A. DeLuca here, aka Pad69, the creator of Wildstorm Wednesday, and say it with me, known through Philadelphia, PA, Europe, and the vast multiverse as your eclectic one. People, this video is a long time coming. Deep down, I saw a shift. I felt a shift in my commentary, my reviews, my unboxings, my trading card unboxings for Wildstorm Wednesday. Now, all of Wildstorm Wednesday's content is aggregated on my website, akapad.com/live/Wildstorm Wednesday. Or not really. You know what? I forget the link. I'll just put it right there. I forget the link, guys. Apologize. So, Wildstorm Wednesday was me reintroducing myself to the world of comic books, hyper focusing on something from the 90s, but also something I'm not familiar with. Now, this stemmed from me going down a similar road with Chaos Comics, but what happened was when I was doing my, back issue bin diving, my 50 cent, 25 cent, $1 issue diving, more of the Wildstorm books stood out to me at the time, and lo and behold, also in New Jersey, in PA, in Delaware, in New York, there's not a lot of Chaos Comics in those dollar bins. I do believe a lot of people enjoy those books and they're holding on to them. So I just pivoted, and I just saw an opportunity to really delve into something that on the surface level I was very familiar with, and from a few titles I was very familiar with. But even at the time, I could probably sit down and do like a 20-25 minute lecture on the rise and fall of Wildstorm Productions and what I feel like exactly happened through those years to, have them lose an audience, but at the same time grow in artistry and grow in post-production, colorists. We know a lot of the artists that came through Wildstorm Productions, and overall what they meant to comic books. So, during this study, during these episodes, during these live streams, a lot of Jim Lee's behavior with DC comic books right now, it deterred me. Wildstorm Wednesday became more or less of a Jim Lee commentary take, or an opportunity to discuss something Jim Lee has done or often has not done to benefit DC Comics. I want to pull it back. So everything I'm about to discuss with you is also going to echo on what we're going to call on this channel Top Cow Tuesdays, the Mark Silvestri powerhouse, the real publishing institution that came up through the Image 7. Sorry, Jim Lee. But I can, I can quantify that, and I can connect those dots, and I can explain why Top Cow's up and Wildstorm is down, because I spent so much time with both. Now, we will be launching, and I'll be doing a similar video discussing with you what Top Cow Tuesday is going to be. But what we're going to do now is we're just going to cancel Wildstorm Wednesday. Wildstorm Wednesday is going to be no longer. And I'm going to do what the comic book publishers do. We're going to do Wildstorm Wednesday 2.0. And what can you expect from Wildstorm Wednesday 2.0? We're going to track some of the creators behind these books from issue 1, from their inception, from them breaking into the industry. Two individuals of note. We always talk about Jim Lee, but it's Scott Clark. And before Scott Clark entered into Stormwatch, a lot of people don't know that he had an independent background, and he was a perfect choice to fill the slot of that book. And when it comes to the launch books, Scott Clark on Stormwatch is greater than Marat Michaels on Brigade, and the list goes on. It was a perfect pairing. Jim Lee, Wildcats, Scott Clark, Stormwatch. They run a talent search. They discover Brett Booth. Wildcats is 0, but that leads into, from a character of Stormwatch, I believe it was Stormwatch issue 4 or 5, the first appearance of Backlash, but Backlash gets his own title, so now we have like a 3-headed dragon. And then later, Gen 13 and Deathblow did 2 true successes of the monthly superhero publishing powerhouse, right? Those 2 characters or 2 titles alone were chosen by the people, and they rose up. And even to this day, Gen 13 resonates, Deathblow resonates. And when it comes to what's worthy of getting reprinted, we really only have Gen 13. So there's a lot of these broader strokes. And then Wildstorm eventually becomes a licensing holder, a licensing venue. They're heavy with the licensing, video games, anime, the list goes on. Ninja Scroll, people forget about that. They forget about the Robotech. They forget about the Resident Evil work that Wildstorm has done. But then there's like almost like a reformation. The company itself went through a 2.0 when DC bought them out, and they essentially kept trying to do Wildstorm events time after time with some really good writers, some well thought out storylines, artwork, so and so, but some top talent kept trying to revive Wildstorm. And even to this day, even with 2023 passing us, they tried to bring back Wildcats to a dud, but reviewed on Wildstorm Wednesdays. So I want to bring my commentary of Wildstorm from day 0 all the way into day 1, being the Wildcats issue 1 drop, right? So we're going to just discuss those things, and we're going to highlight a lot of the creators that came up through Wildstorm. Joe Chiodo, the colorist, I love that name. But we got guys like J. Scott Campbell, we got guys like Ryan Benjamin, we got guys like Brett Booth, who had, like, Brett Booth of all of them has had the best art. And yes, Brett Booth himself has a rise and a fall. So we're just going to go heavy, we're going to go deep. We're going to go into some of the crevices of the imprints later in Wildstorm, but we're going to try and do things sequentially. We're going to go through interviews, we're going to collect as much information as possible, and I'm going to bring it to you in an orderly fashion. I feel like with my perspective and my take on exactly what is happening with, with Jim Lee, with DC Comics, and how that translates to his work at Wildstorm Productions and his failed editorial grab, the EIC grab that he had at Marvel. We're going to go into some of the people that commentated, that even had their own thoughts at the time. And it's going to be more of a timeline, but we will have tangent episodes that shoot off on that timeline, because sometimes you just find things that are interesting when you're digging around or when you're reading and researching, and you just want to bring it to people. There's a little bit of a pulse for Wildstorm Productions material on YouTube, or just basically on the internet in general. That that pulse does not move the needle for this channel. There's no subscribers. There's very little interaction. I'm no longer a part of it because, I don't know, they just seem like weak fools. But there's a Wildstorm Facebook group, and it's pretty, it's pretty active. They have a, pretty high membership. I believe they're hovering between, I haven't looked recently. I'll just say between 5,000 to 10,000 members, and they're the ones that control a lot of the market of what you see online. I'm meaning, they'll just buy things up on eBay and drive some of the prices around, and that's a lot of where the Wildstorm pricing, is pretty high for a 90s publishing house. They're higher than Chaos, they're higher than Malibu, they're even higher than Top Cow. This Facebook group, though, does control the pricing because some top-tier collectors are very active in these groups. Some of that will be analyzed. We will discuss that. I will reveal why I'm not a part of that Facebook group also. Because throughout these years, you know, like, I try to interject myself and I try to not educate, but maybe like remind people what the air of the industry was, because there's so much love bombing and retconning today, and people don't put in the effort to really understand what things were like at the time. This is the strength, I feel like, on AKAPAD and everything we do here at this channel. This is the strength of the AKAPAD army, and this is what I feel like you interact with me about. We want these perspectives. We want to be, you know, like, deviate. We want to be deviate. We want to be deviants in a particular notion, especially when it comes to comic book history, because history is written by the victors, and I feel like, well, I'm pretty victorious when it comes to the Wildstorm conversation, but I want to solidify it, and I want to go hard with a lot of the SEO, and I want people, when they search for Wildstorm anywhere, I come up first. Cheers to all of you. Get ready for Wildstorm Wednesday 2.0. And yes, we'll have merch.